Officials are cracking down on operators of a large solar farm in northeast Texas. They're accused of contaminating creeks and rivers in violation of state rules. Now, we featured the solar company in a special report last year, and now neighboring landowners who oppose the project are saying, "We told you so." Canals and Pickens have complained to state and local authorities who have recently responded. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has issued a notice of violation to the contractor for failure to prevent discharge sediment from migrating downstream. And the Sulphur River Basin Authority has issued a resolution condemning what it calls the damaging effects of the significant degradation of neighboring floodplains and wetlands.
Meadowwood, read that incorrectly, neighborhood of Rush have been without clean tap water. This is because of an aquifer puncture during drilling at the Horseshoe Solar Energy Project. Well, since we first reported on this story back in February, residents tell Ryan Hermanet the aftermath has gotten worse.
The water is the biggest issue right now. It's fine for flushing the toilet. I use it to do the dishes, but I do not drink it. Thank you, Horseshoe Solar. This is what I'm drinking.
And it's the same situation in every house on her street. Swanton says she was told by Horseshoe Solar workers water has turbidity and contains sediment from the aquifer. But perhaps the most unsettling part of it all?
We don't know if it's going to be 10 months. We don't know if it's going to be 10 years. Will it be a century? I'm going to push for public water because that's the long-range solution.
If you lose your solar, this can't go forward. Is that true?
I don't think that's necessarily accurate. We do have a very significant gas line on site that we could use to create electricity. You want to have the solar because it's a good thing to have, because it provides power, and also because then we would be able to obtain the benefit of that tax credit.
Water-hungry data centers are drawing scrutiny as drought deepens across the Southeast. It's the worst the area has seen in 25 years. And water restrictions just kicked in Raleigh, so there are limits to how much you can water your lawn. But what about data centers using millions of gallons a day?
We're diving into one of the most divisive issues in Wisconsin and across the country right now, data center development.
I have an urgent warning for anyone in Texas, because right now, we're seeing one city in Texas run dry. By allowing these data centers to use fresh drinking water to cool their systems.
Raising concerns about everything from noise to the strain on the electric grid and the water supply. In north central Texas, one longtime water well driller says aquifer levels are dropping.
In the 50s, we had plenty of water in the aquifer, even though we were having a drought as far as rainfall.
Today, it's a different story.
Those wells would make 400 gallons a minute. Today, they make 50.
In 1972, Eddie drilled a well at his home in Somervell County and found the water 22 feet below the surface. Today, that water is now 212 feet below the surface.
Look right behind me. That is Lake Corpus Christi. I'm in Texas doing a story on this. The lake is drying up, and there's a number of reasons. I'm going to go into it in a story that I'm working on. But the bottom line is overuse and loose regulations. We can't take and expect nothing bad to happen. We are the last ones that can save our natural resources. We got to have something to leave behind for our kids and grandkids. What kind of world are we going to leave for them if we keep getting big business and giant corporations and things like AI data centers into places like Texas where the water is running out?
energy company is seeking tax incentives from Little River County, Arkansas to build a solar farm and battery center just north of Ashdown. The Quorum Court held a public hearing today to discuss the proposed plant.
Some area residents are raising opposition to the project, and KTBS 3's Julie Parr is live in Little River County, Arkansas with more on the issue. Julie?
Hey, Courtney. Hey, Alex. A large crowd gathered inside the county courthouse here behind me. Some residents trying to discourage the Quorum Court from approving tax incentives for the construction of a battery energy storage system here in Little River County. The proposed project would be built off of State Highway 108 just north of Ashdown. The company NextEra Energy is one of the nation's leading energy providers. They're proposing construction of a battery center on about 2,000 acres here in Little River County. Resident Tracy Jones believes that the battery center would have a negative impact on the environment.
You have the ability for erosion of the ground, pollution, contamination, thermal runaway fires. There's just things that we're just not able to deal with here in Little River County.
Resident Tracy Jones says it could cost residents up to $15,000 to get the issue on the ballot.
We as the citizens will take that. We believe it's worth that to try to save our homes.
Residents polled the Quorum Court on the issue. 8 members said they would vote no, and 1 member said he would abstain from voting. County Judge Larry Cowling says he's not ready to vote on the tax incentives.
I still have questions on it and everything. All I'm trying to do is protect my Quorum Court and everything like that, and all that. Everything we do is legal.
Helping story out of Arkansas, the proposed construction of solar energy farm is facing a roadblock after being denied a tax break. KSLA's Marvin Andrade tells us why many people are actually against this proposed site.
You know, this is just south of 1,000 of your constituents who are asking you to vote against this tax abatement.
Last month, the Quorum Court voted against the abatement, but County Judge Larry Cowling vetoed that decision. But today, the court overruled that veto. President Tracy Jones has taken the lead in this fight and said the proposed site is next to his property. Jones said the fight is not over because they have filed a lawsuit against the judge.
Our attorneys will give us their opinions moving forward. The judge has entered into an Act 9, so it will likely have to be heard in circuit court. Our question is whether or not the judge had the authority to ever do that without the vote of the Quorum Court, and we do not believe that the law supports what he has done.
People in Little River County fighting against the construction of a solar farm filled the county courtroom today. The group was seeking an injunction preventing County Judge Larry Cowling from entering into an agreement with NextEra Energy Company to build the solar farm. Now, earlier this year, the Little River County Quorum Court voted down providing a tax abatement to NextEra to build the farm, but County Judge Cowling vetoed that decision.
You know, we obviously would have liked to have the injunction. We are happy to hear that the case will move forward. Our suspicion is that, you know, the irreparable harm part is probably hard for her to gather with bonds being under litigation. Really, it's hard to sell those bonds anyway. So I think the idea is that we can get to court and have a case before we'll need an injunction.
Now, Tracy Jones is one of those against the solar farm. Jones said they're hoping to bring this issue to the voters, but the visiting judge said not at this time.
I think from the very beginning of this process, there has been an attempt to strip the people of their voice, and that we've had a continuation of that today, but it was not unexpected.